Gary Black has just updated his Tesla stock price target, and now it is down from $350 to $320. The price target was cut because Tesla decreased prices again, mostly in Europe, but not for all models. Interestingly, in Germany, Tesla did not cut the price for the standard range and the long range Model Y, but for example, in France, Tesla did cut prices for all models. We also see cuts in Netherlands as well as Norway, but in Norway, we do have one model that had a price increase of about 2%. This is for the Model Y long range model. We also have price cuts in Denmark, so it's a pretty wide price cut in Europe, but it is not limited just to Europe. In New Zealand, the prices were cut too. And there was a price cut in Hong Kong as well. James is not happy at all with the price because he says, if someone tells you that these price cuts are bullish, do this to them. This constant stream of price cuts, says James, sends the following messages. Don't buy a Tesla because it will be cheaper next quarter or by the end of a quarter. Don't buy a Tesla because your car's residual value will take a dump very soon. Don't buy a Tesla if you want a premium brand image. Do not buy a Tesla vehicle because the deal has gotten even better for a consumer. James is certainly not happy at all. I'm not going to read this rant, but all he was saying is that they better print some stupid high auto margin number next week. That's all I'm saying. Cat rage is over. For now. I see two reasons why Tesla cut prices further in Europe that actually make business sense. And number one is the tariffs that Tesla had to pay to import vehicles from China to Europe. Well, there are less vehicles imported now because Giga Berlin is ramping. So that's one reason to potentially cut prices. Euro has been getting a little bit stronger lately. If you look at the last month, Euro is up 2.7%, so that alone justifies a price cut of about 3% roughly. But currencies are quite volatile. If I zoom out to the 1-year chart, the story is a little bit different. These are the two not that obvious reasons. And then, of course, the third very obvious reason is generally better logistics. Lithium prices are dropping further, but overall it seems that many people are not happy with these ongoing price cuts. Gary, though, says that collectively GM, Ford, Stellantis, and all of the other car companies still generate $70 billion in net income. At least that's the projected amount for this year. And all of that, he says, can fund their money-losing EV businesses. And all of them know they must convert their ICE customers to EVs or perish. I'm not sure about that last part. Toyota's new CEO, who is supposedly super pro EVs, he is all in on hydrogen despite everyone else focusing on EVs. So I'm not sure if Gary's statement there is really accurate. In fact, I don't think it's accurate fully, definitely not. Then Gary speaks about how, unlike BlackBerry, Nokia, and Motorola, today's ICE manufacturers can extend their trusted ICE brands, for example F-150, to their EV products. I remember seeing the first Nokia touchscreen phone and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. And then I saw an iPhone and then I was like, whoa, that Nokia is certainly amazing at being really bad. And I loved Nokia. My parents had Nokia phones. I had a Nokia phone. I loved my Nokia phone. But yeah, the iPhone, that was a force to be reckoned with. These brands were certainly also able to extend their trusted brands to these new products that they were trying to come up with. My dad actually continued buying Nokia phones, just touchscreen Nokia phones, until eventually he switched to Samsung. So the brands certainly were able to carry on and still influence some consumers, certainly. And then Gary continues that unlike Apple, Tesla is not willing to advertise to convert these existing ICE customers to switch to EVs. Then Gary continues here with statements that sound more like facts. Today's European price cuts may cost Tesla $600 million in annual profits with no volume or cost offsets. Absent an Apple-like education-oriented ad campaign, we doubt GM, Ford, or Volkswagen are shaking in their boots as they continue to scale up their EV manufacturing capabilities. I really don't think that a price cut does not add any new sales. It may not add more sales to your projected model, as an example, if the model was not right based on the current prices, but to say that a price cut in an industry where consumers are extremely price sensitive is not going to help to sell more cars, I think that is certainly not right. This, of course, is an opinion, but that opinion sounds more like a fact. I want to wait until the earnings call and see what the margins are, and then we can talk a little bit more. Gary, though, he may be right that the competition is not shaking, which would be a huge mistake because they should really be concerned. I mean, when your biggest competitor is selling vehicles at much cheaper prices, if you are not scared, oh, you are going to be crushed so hard. Competition not being scared actually helps Tesla because they are going to be caught so off guard. Also, let's not forget that the economies of scale are going to improve as well. Also, the good news is that the average price of a new vehicle is now slightly above that of the Model 3, and the Model Y is not too far off. Keep in mind, this is the average price. This is not a median price. Either way, the vehicles are now much more affordable, and I expect that Tesla will keep making the vehicles more affordable. Now let's go through the rest of the Tesla stock news. We now know if the Cybertruck definitely is going to open like this, which would be very convenient because then you can just put things inside the trunk so much easier, or if you need to change a diaper, it's just so much easier unless you're gigantically tall. And here's the picture that confirms that yes, the Cybertruck trunk will also open exactly like that. We also now have some insight into the pricing of the Semi. The cost is about $250,000. And then the question is that the 300-mile range model or the 500-mile range model? I think it is the 500-mile range model because they say here that trucks have a range of around 400 miles before they need to be charged. But also, let's not forget that the government gives pretty sizable subsidies of about $40,000. So they probably actually pay $210,000 when we minus the federal incentives here. We also have this interesting data. US Tesla sales are a lot higher than that of BMW or Mercedes. Tesla sales are almost higher than if we put the sales of Mercedes and BMW together. Maybe this year that will actually happen. And if we look at Q1 data, that actually already suggests that it will happen. And keep in mind, BMW and Mercedes, these two companies spend so much money on advertising to advertise their somewhat, let's say, if we compare their EVs to Tesla's EVs, inferior products. Tesla Energy has now expanded into Thailand as well. If Tesla's higher inventories really worry you, take a deep breath and then take a look at this. This is the number of days that it would take for other automakers to sell their current inventory, basically. As you can see, the national average sits at about 60 days almost. Toyota is at almost 30. And do you remember where Tesla is? Well, it's at about 16. So the second best is almost twice as high as Tesla. Until we get to at least 30 days of inventory, I don't see much of a reason to worry about the inventory levels. Bradford is going back to watch the mega packs again. If you are willing to help him, or you know anyone who is willing to sit outside the factory together with Bradford while perhaps he sleeps, definitely let him know. Send him a direct message on Twitter. This would be so helpful to the whole community. We learned from Bradford's last time when he went there that Tesla is probably doing about 10 megapacks per day. And it would be good to know for sure that that number is indeed that high, or some people may say that low. And maybe Tesla has already scaled the production higher. So if you are willing to help, make sure to text Bradford. And a bit of good news about just overall the current state of our banking system. The loans are decreasing, so that's good. The banks are not asking for more money. They are actually repaying the loans that they got from the government, which indicates that the situation is not getting worse for now. Lucid before told us that they would deliver 49,000 vehicles in 2023, so they should have delivered about 10,000 vehicles in Q1. How many did they actually deliver? 1,400 vehicles. And they also missed the consensus by quite a bit. Dylan Loomis from Electrify said that the consensus was about 2,000 vehicles, so they missed the consensus, the most recent consensus, by a lot as well. And this is an important message to all Tesla stock investors. My name is Matt Poches. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.